everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am pretty pumped because I'm going to be testing out the L'Oreal True Match Super-Blendable Foundation. I picked up the shade 4.5, which is called Golden Silk. More on the tan side for when I self-tan. If I wasn't self-tan, this shade would probably be too dark for me. To be honest with you, I have been wearing this for the last 3 days because I wanted to give you my real thoughts and opinions, not just a first impression. So I'm going to be applying this on camera and letting you know my thoughts and opinions on it. So this foundation does include hyaluronic acid, which is great. And it's supposed to perfectly match skin color and texture. It's also supposed to give you perfectly natural coverage. It has 80% hydrating care to moisturize and beautify your skin for 24-hour hydration, improve skin quality in 2 weeks, and that's really all it says. So this is what 4.5 looks like. I kind of took the Maybelline 220 in store and compared it because there was no tester, so I couldn't really tell. But I compared the bottles and it was kind of similar to the Maybelline 220. Definitely has more of like a yellow golden kind of undertone to it. So if you're new to my channel, I do have combination skin. I get oily down the T-zone, but I find this time during the year I can get dry as well around my nose. So I don't know what's going on with my skin, but normally I am a combination skin type and I don't usually break out. I have like a thing right here happening, a little bit of a zit, but normally I don't break out too much, but I do get a combination T-zone is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to test this out and tell you my thoughts and opinions. Now for this video, I'm not going to use a primer just because I feel like I want to show you what exactly the foundation looks like on my bare skin that's just moisturized. So we're just going to go in. I'm going to go in using a sponge for probably one half of my face, and then I'll use a brush to compare just in case somebody watching maybe likes using a brush and not a sponge. What I've noticed with this foundation is it's very fluid and one pump goes a long way. So you can actually get good spreadability with one pump is what I'm trying to say. It gives you a really natural hydrated look, but it doesn't feel overly wet, doesn't feel overly dewy. And I find the coverage on it is pretty great. I would give it a medium coverage. You could probably build on it a bit more. But to be honest with you, as I'm aging, as I'm getting older, I don't like a heavy foundation anymore because I do find it accentuates my pores, it sits on my fine lines. So I do like something a little bit more lightweight with about a medium coverage because I don't I'm lucky in the sense that I don't break out a lot. So you can see that it did cover up. I had quite a bit of redness over here. It covered up the redness pretty well. And you can just see my skin just looks really healthy. You can still see my skin through the foundation, especially right here around my cheeks. You can see a little bit of the freckling happening. So if you wanted to do maybe a little bit more, a tiny pea-sized drop here, I'm going to try to build it a little bit on my cheek. I think this foundation looks extremely nice, especially up close in person. It honestly just looks like my skin, but better. It's not accentuating any dry patches. It's not accentuating my pores. It just looks very natural and nice. Now for anyone that likes to use a brush, I'm going to go in with this. This is the Smashbox Blurring Foundation Brush. So I'm going to just give an example on this side of the face. So I did the same amount, one pump. Personally, I usually use a sponge. Sometimes I find with brushes you can get brush marks left in your skin, and I have to go back in anyways with a beauty blender kind of just to smooth everything out. But this one from Smashbox, this brush is really good. I think because this foundation is so lightweight, almost like a serum texture, I find when I use the brush, it does a really good job. It doesn't look streaky like some other foundations that I try to kind of blend in my skin using a brush. So if you are a person who just likes to use a brush, I find that this foundation just blends in seamlessly to the skin. It doesn't leave streaks, it's just kind of effortlessly. I'm just pouncing it into my skin. I do have a little bit of a dry patch on the side of my nose, right on this side, so it does look a little bit dry, but it's dry. What can I do about it? Any foundation would look like that. And I also find I have a laugh line on this side of my face more prominent than this side, but it's not doing anything major making it look strange because I do find sometimes with foundations as well, it could settle in the laugh line pretty bad, but this one, not so much. I'm going to do the majority of my makeup off camera, but I'm just going to kind of set my face just to give you a full idea because I do set my face, I get oily, so if you're dry, you might not want to set your face, but for me, I'm going to. So first, before I do that, I'm just going to take some Dermablend concealer. I have the shade 23W. Just going to apply a little bit. I get dark right here. This is my problem. Right in here. So next I'm taking the Mercier translucent powder. I take my little damp Quo Shoppers Drug Mart sponge. I dip it into the powder. And I'm just going to press it just underneath the eye. I don't bake. I don't do a full layer and let it sit there. I just take a little amount and I just really work it into the skin. So at this point I have to set my whole face because I do get oily throughout the day. This foundation is amazing for hydrating. It has hyaluronic acid in it, so if you are a dry skin type, you're probably not going to want to set your face. You're probably just going to want to leave it like this, and it looks absolutely stunning. The finish on this foundation just looks so natural but gives you such beautiful coverage. So I'm going to take a little bit of translucent Dermablend powder just to set some of the areas just along my face. This is going to take away some of the radiance. I have to do this though because this is what I do with all my foundations. So if I just taking a very, very small amount of this powder, very small. Then because I'm feeling that kind of natural glowy vibe, I'm going to use the Honest Beauty highlighter Luminizing Glow Powder in the Dusk shade for my bronzer today. This is more of a highlight, but I actually like using it as a bronzer. I'm running out. So I just swirl. This is a Smashbox. I love this brush for bronzer. It's called an angled blush brush, but I use it for bronzer all the time. So just take some of that. Just want to put some dimension back into my skin so it's not so flat. To be honest with you, usually at this point my face definitely needs a setting spray just because my face starts to look a little bit, I would say, powdery. Not cakey, but just powdery. And I do find when I look at myself in the mirror, my face does not, it just looks like skin. It just looks really pretty. I'm still going to use a setting spray, but my face almost just feels like it doesn't need it to melt the product in. Like I feel like the product is just sitting really nicely on my face, which I don't find happens with all foundations that I use. Okay, then before I set anything, I'm just gonna go in with this Benefit powder called the Gold Rush powder. It kind of is a blush and a highlight all in one, so I'm gonna go in with that first. It's very natural, so again, if you're looking for a blush shade that kind of has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's more the natural side, it's not like in your face. This is a very beautiful color and I really love the smell. The smell's amazing on all these powders. And then for my highlighter, I'm going to go in with the Elcie. This is her Eclipse highlighter in the shade Luna. It has a really nice pinky kind of gold undertone to it, which will match the blush really nice. I'm going to go very light-handed with this just because the blush does already have a natural kind of highlight built into it. Now I'm just going to set my face, and I was going to use the Wet n Wild because I really like that setting spray, but it does have a shimmer to it and I don't want to do that. I just want to give you like the natural look of my skin. So I'm going to go in with the VDL. This is their Expert Radiance Face Mist. Okay, so right now the time is 11 a.m. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the rest of my face makeup. I'm going to do another video for Instagram. Doing the rest of my face makeup. I'll come back on and do some check-ins. Okay, so I'm checking in. It's now 3 o'clock. I did film the rest of my face as like a short, really short Instagram reel, so that will be up on my page. If you don't follow me, you can find me on Instagram at Courtney Kelly Beauty. Okay, so I didn't want to blot. I am finding that I'm getting a little bit oily, but I didn't want to blot because I want to show you the true foundation and show you what's happening. So like I mentioned before, I'm definitely oily in the T-zone. That's where I have my most problematic area. So far, when I look up close here, okay, so when I look at my face, I'm definitely getting oily on my nose. That's like the main area that I'm seeing a little bit of oil seeping through here. So the nose is looking pretty shiny, and I am getting a little bit of the foundation kind of coming off just around the nose. I haven't blown my nose or anything, but I do find I get quite oily around here. It's weird. I get dry and oily all in the same place. So I am having a little bit of problem with the nose, but other than that, my face looks pretty good. The chin looks like it's still intact. It's just this one section right here, and then the forehead it's looking a little bit shiny, but the product is not lifting off my face. It also looks really good for my laugh line on this side. It's not like settling in majorly to the line, so not accentuating it, but I am finding I'm getting a little bit of a line right here. So I find with some foundations, this scares me. This really does scare me because I'm not a smoker, but I'm getting, as I get older, I'm getting these fine lines, I guess, around my lip area. So I am seeing a little bit of a crease right here, which I don't always see with a regular foundation. So I am getting a tiny bit of creasing. I am more of an oilier skin type, but I wanted to try it out to let you know for all my oily combination friends how this really works. So I'm gonna keep wearing it and I'll check back in. I'll see you in a bit. All right, so I'm checking in. It's 8 o'clock. This is gonna be my final check-in. So I've had the foundation on for about 10 hours, which is quite a long time. I didn't really go anywhere. I went for a quick drive, went through a Starbucks drive-through, but other than that, I've been home. I have not touched up my face, not once. So my eyelash is falling off, but that's okay. So I have a little blotting paper here. So you can see that around my nose, it is definitely oily. But throughout the day, on a normal day when I'm not testing out a foundation, I get oily throughout the day. It doesn't matter really what foundation I wear, I get oily. So I would touch up throughout the day. Just blotting my face like this just really takes away the oil, and the foundation is not lifting, which is really good. So I have, like I said, I've worn this foundation for the last couple of days. This is not like my first impression, and I'm gonna tell you I really like this foundation. So you can notice just up close, right around my nose, that's the only place I had a little bit of an issue. But other than that, it's intact everywhere else. Okay, so overall, I think that this foundation is excellent, really good. I think if you have dry skin, you are absolutely gonna love this. Because of the hyaluronic acid and the very hydrating aspect of it, you're gonna love it. I think if you have combination skin like myself, you will also really like it. You're just gonna have to blot throughout the day. I also like how it feels on my face. It's very lightweight. I like how my skin looks very natural. It gives a nice medium coverage without looking heavy. And also, if you are the type of person who has fine lines, it doesn't settle. Like obviously it's gonna, like obviously I have my laugh line over here, yeah, like it looks a little bit creasy, but it's not that creasy with foundations when you put them on and it settles right away. I did get a little line right here around my lip, but I think I should just set it a little bit more because it feels a little bit tacky compared to the rest of my face. But I do like how it doesn't settle into my fine lines and makes my skin look crepey or dry. So that's really good about it. And I also like just, again, how my skin just feels very lightweight, like I have nothing on at all. And I also think the shades are very forgiving because it does have a medium finish. So for me, I bought the shade 4.5. I think I could have gone one shade lighter, but there was no tester. But because it's so blendable and it's very lightweight, you can get away with maybe picking the wrong shade by one or two units. I would go down probably if I had to repick, go down in one shade, I think, for me. But this is a good tan shade for me, and overall I really like it. Is it going to replace my Maybelline Matte and Poreless? I don't know. Time will tell. But I really do like this, and I think it just looks really beautiful on my skin. And I think for this time of the year when it's really cold, having a foundation with the hyaluronic acid built into it is great. So overall, I think this foundation is definitely worth picking up at the drugstore if you can find it. And that will be my review. I really hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel for new videos. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.